Hello and welcome to Russ's Movie Corner. My name is Russ, and as you can see, I'm sitting in front of my movie wall. But today on Russ's Movie Corner, we have a special Russ Plays Games episode here. And I know I said Russ's Movie Corner, I said Russ Plays Games. This is kind of my channel. It's just Russ's Movie Corner, and this is my movie corner. So a lot of times you'll see me sitting in front of my movie corner, just kind of hanging out. Forgive my appearance, I kind of woke up this morning, but something that I have been really waiting for just came in the mail today. And this is a project that I actually backed about 2.5 years ago, give or take. And it was a Kickstarter exclusive. This is actually a company, it's an Italian company that went out and they made originally a board game, and then when they came back in, they decided that they were going to do something new. And it's sort of a prequel to their original game that they made. This is something that has been highly anticipated by a lot of people. And they actually split this Kickstarter into 2 parts, and you could get wave 1 early, which is what I did, and then you get wave 2 later, which is going to have a different name. And once I get into it, I'll kind of talk a little bit more about that. But this is actually, let me just grab the box here. It's kind of heavy. Ugh. Come here, you. Sword and Sorcery, Ancient Chronicles edition. So as I said, and you could choose to have it split into 2 shipments, or you could choose to have them give you both at once, which wouldn't come out until wave 2, which is supposed to be towards the end of this year. So I actually really got excited about this because if you've ever played any adventure games like the Dungeons & Dragons Fantasy Adventure board game, or Hero Quest, Dragon Strike from back in the day, any of those type of adventure games where you'd have a board, you'd have little pieces that you'd move them along, and you'd have different things of furniture, that kind of stuff. This is similar to that. But what's cool about this is that unlike those adventure board games where, say, for instance, you would have to have someone to run the monsters. For instance, like in Dragon Strike, they're called a Dragon Master. In Hero Quest, here in America anyway, you were Zargon, the evil Zargon. You controlled all the evil monsters. Plus, you were the role of mentor, the wizard, who would lead the heroes on their adventures. You'd read this little box, little text box that was like, Mentor says, good luck, brave heroes, as you search for such and such in dungeon so-and-so, or whatever. And so, you'd have a little screen, and, you'd have the map behind it, and you'd place the monsters out on the board, stuff like that. This is different because this does not do that. This is something that is actually a lot different, and a lot of people don't. This is something new, where there's not a lot of companies doing this right now. I think there's only like a couple of card games actually that I know of that use this type of mechanic where you're fighting the deck, or you're fighting a preset command, or what these guys call AI scrolls. And I'll get into that in a little bit more once I start getting into the box. But this is going to be an unboxing of Sword and Sorcery Ancient Chronicles. So originally Sword and Sorcery came out, I think it was like 2015 or 2016. They came out with and I could be wrong about that, they came out with a board game called Immortal Souls. Sword and Sorcery Immortal Souls. Okay? And like Fantasy Flight, they use specialty dice, where you roll the dice and you have certain symbols, and those symbols stack up and deal damage. And it's also similar to, if you've ever played Battle Masters or Hero Quest, where they have those symbols on the dice, and you roll, and whatever symbols roll, then that's hits or misses or whatever. And that's kind of the same thing here. They have specialty dice, and once we get in there and I start opening up each of the individual components, we'll kind of talk about that. So this might be kind of a long video. I'm just going to kind of try to get through it. They had a It was about a half an hour long unboxing video for this. Like, they actually showed you what was inside the box about a month and a half ago, I think it was. I'll put a link to it down in the description box, so that you know, if you just want to get a quick look at what's inside the box, then that will be what it is. But yeah, this is something that I've anticipated for a long time, because the miniatures in here are very high quality. I mean, this is something that I've never seen. What's interesting is, I know that because I mentioned Hero Quest, I'm sure there's probably a bunch of people that are going to put this down in the comments. But yes, I know Hero Quest is coming back. The HasLab team confirmed it when they were going through, and when they were doing some of their different things. They were like, hey, guess what, guys? We're going to redo Hero Quest. I had heard about it from the Bard, the famous, why Hero Quest is so great guy, I guess is what you could call him. And I'll link a video down below. He is absolutely hilarious. I love his unboxings. I love his reboxings. I love his demeanor and everything about him. He's wonderful. Unfortunately, because he lives in Australia, I don't know that he's going to be able to get the remastered Hero Quest, just because I think it's only coming out here in America, because that's what Hasbro decided to do with it. Not my choice. But I will get that when it comes out, and I will do an unboxing of that, and I actually have the original Hero Quest with the first expansion. So I did get the Mythic tier, so I did get both expansions, so I will get Keller's Keep and Return of the Witchlord. Plus, I think there's like a couple of other adventures that they have people, like, as people unlocked certain tiers, they had new character classes that they're releasing, and they also have brand new adventures that you're going to be able to go on, adventure books that you're actually going to have that you're going to be able to go on. I think we missed like 3 tiers at the end where we would have gotten an extra Dread Sorcerer, I think is what they're calling him, instead of Chaos, because for anyone who knows, Hero Quest was originally made off of the old world from Warhammer Fantasy. And because Hasbro kind of took over Milton Bradley, and, you know, that they didn't want to try to go back and try to get the Games Workshop license, and because Age of Sigmar has taken over, there's no old world anymore, they were like, hey, you know what, we're just going to redesign things. So instead of having the Chaos figures, they're now called Dread figures. And instead of having the Femirs, the guys with like the one eye and the double-bladed axe, with the kind of tails with the little, like, almost like mace balls on the end of the tail, instead of having those, they're gonna have these things called like abominations is what they're called. They're kind of like troglodytes. They look kind of like troglodytes. Or fishmen, you know, kind of, and they're called abominations, I believe is what they are. And so that is something that I am excited for as well. I know that there's a lot of people that are like, oh my gosh, they're going to ruin it. They're absolutely going to ruin it. And it's like, well, I don't know. Their designs are pretty cool. Looking at the proof of concept of what they were going to do with it, the board's going to remain the same. All the furniture is going to remain the same. I think, though, the furniture, instead of just being some plastic pieces with some cardboard stuck on it, they're actually going to be fully 3D printed, you know, figures. Like, they're actually going to the furniture will actually be a complete plastic piece. I actually have painted a lot of the furniture from Hero Quest. There's some of it that I still haven't gotten to yet, but I have painted a lot of it. I painted the fireplace. I painted the weapon rack, because I was going to use that in Warhammer Fantasy before they went to Age of Sigmar. So yeah, there's a lot of stuff there. So I think, in my opinion, that it's going to be fun. I think it's going to be a great return to adventure board gaming for people. And, you know, games like this are actually bringing people back, and they're actually bringing people to these kind of games, and I think that it's going to be a good thing. So let me introduce you to Sword and Sorcery, Ancient Chronicles, and this is the base game set. Okay, and what's in it is you have the rulebook Act 1 storybook, Act 1 book of secrets, a reference sheet, 2 site sheets, and I'll get into that in a minute, 30 plastic figures at 32mm scale, 20 double-sided map tiles, 8 custom combat dice, 5 double-sided soul gems, 5 hero sheets, 2 master enemy scrolls, 14 enemy scrolls, 280 cards, and 300 plus tokens and markers. Basically, what this is you can play this solo and up to 5 people. And how that works is if you play it solo, you get what they call an ally character. Okay, that ally character can go with you on the adventure and help you with magic and combat and all that kind of stuff. And if you have, I think, 2 players, I think you can still have an ally to go with you. But once you get up to like 3 or 4 players, then you go. You don't have any allies. It's just you. And what's interesting about this game is that when you place down the tiles, you move, and when you see certain things, you have a line of sight to a certain token or something like that, it'll start an encounter, which is generally like monsters will pop out and you'll start fighting. And so you'll move up, you'll attack, or you'll cast spells, or you'll do whatever, and the monsters have the what they call enemy scrolls. Okay, so there's 14 enemy scrolls in just this box. There's actually a whole nother chest that I'll pull out here in a minute that will show you the size and scope of this game. It is gigantic. So what's cool is that when you see certain things, then you turn to certain pages in the Book of Secrets and you read what's going on, and that's kind of the dungeon master of the game, is the Book of Secrets, telling you what you're seeing, what's going on, kind of furthers the story. And then when you get to certain parts, then you read out of the storybook, and then and that kind of continues the narrative along. So there's the storybook, and then there's the Book of Secrets, and I'll kind of get into how those work here in a second. But let me go ahead and slice open this bad boy here. Now you can't see it, but you can probably hear it. Alrighty. Let's drop some plastic. Oh, I have been waiting for this. You don't know how long. 2.5 years, and it smells so good. Oh, that new board game smell. You gotta love it. Alrighty. So, these are the tiles and token sheets. As you can see, kind of like with like a Fantasy Flight game, man, there's a ton of them. Okay? Let me see here. There's 1, 2, 4, 5, 6. There's 7 tile sheets just in this one packet. That's a lot. Now, when I mentioned that there was that there were soul gems, let me explain that. So in this game, okay, your character was dead. And if anyone's played the Atari game for the original Xbox called Dungeons and Dragons Heroes, and I know a few of my friends have, because they played it with me, the premise is very similar to that game, where your characters were killed at some point in the past, and now they're resurrected. And when they got resurrected, they ended up in, like, you end up in this, like, kind of crypt area, and you go to the first adventure, and you go through, and as you kill monsters, you have a soul gem counter, you have a soul counter, and you wind it up, and then you distribute those soul points to the different characters that are playing. So if you have, a couple different people playing, then they're gonna hit those soul gems, and they're gonna see, their soul gem is how they level up. Okay, they get more powerful as you use the souls from the soul counter, you level up. Okay, And so, I mean, you can see there are a ton of counters. They are extremely detailed. This right here is the soul counter. So as you can see, there's one here with a couple of, I don't know if you can see it there, but there's a couple of circles that you punch out here, and that's where they actually show up. I don't see the wheel offhand, but anyway. Yeah, and then getting into it, here's some of the map tiles here. So like here's a map tile here, there's a map tile here. These are doors here and here. They're pretty awesome looking. I don't want to punch them out just yet. I have to figure out how I'm going to put them all together. These down here, these are the soul counters for the different heroes. Okay, and so each hero gets a different soul counter depending on who you're playing. Okay. And then again, more map tiles up here and up here. So yeah, and then there's a bunch of, like, I can kind of show you, but there's like a bunch of numbers on the soul counters there, and that's where they actually go together. And I mean, I'm going to sit down, I'm going to read through the instruction manual to make sure that when I put these together that they're actually where they're supposed to be. This one is almost all map tiles, and here, this and this is the soul. These are the soul counter dials, okay, and they're numbers 1 through 9, and so these will actually go in the middle of that little purple oblong shape that I showed. So these wheels will actually show through those little circles, and that's how you keep track of where your souls are. You know, how many souls you have when you kill monsters and stuff like that. Okay, you can see a couple of question mark tiles here and here. I think those are encounter tiles. These little parts right here actually go on your character card, and I'll show the character cards off here in a minute. And what they do is you actually take those and you flip it over when you're done with your turn, so that you know that your turn has been completed, if that makes sense. And at the end of the whole turn, then you flip it back over, and you're ready to do another round of combat or whatever. It's just kind of show that your turn is going. More map tiles. These are hard to see, but there's like some sword and sorcery tiles up here, and then there's some they're little like treasure piles, and when you kill something, or if you yourself get killed, you get to put those down, and that's where your stuff is. You just have to get there and reclaim your stuff before somebody else does. And I think this is the last one. Yeah, this is the last one. This is the last batch of map tiles, and you know, little counters and different things like that. So yeah, there's a whole bunch of different stuff. And you also get money and various things in this game. You know, as you kill things, you'll get money in addition to soul points and stuff like that, and then you can use that to go to the sites. These are the site sheets, and what's cool about these is that as you go in, you can actually go to these different places. You can buy things in towns now, similar to how things worked in Hero Quest, where you'd get treasure, you'd get things off of monsters, and you could buy things at there was like a little armory on the box that would show like you had broadsword, you know, you had axe or whatever, and you could buy certain weapons in between. And that's kind of the same thing that you can do here. So there's this site sheet, and then there's this site sheet. This one's big. So yeah, these are some of the different sites that you can actually visit in Sword and Sorcery, Ancient Chronicles. It's pretty awesome. The reference card. So this kind of tells you golden rules. All rules detailed on cards take priority over the manuals, because sometimes they create cards after they create the manual. So you have time phase, you have battle phase, event phase, combat system, you have the hit stage, you roll dice, heroes without equipped weapons roll 1 blue, use any item, power, activity to enhance attack, add 1 symbol if the attacking faction dominating the target area, domination bonus, calculate total hits. So you add a hit token if you dominate the area. So if you have more monsters, or if you have more heroes than monsters in a tile, you dominate and you add 1 attack. And then yeah, they have enemies, enemy assignment, which means that whoever has like, generally it's whoever finds the monster gets the first enemy scroll, and if there's a different monster, then the next person in clockwise fashion gets the next enemy, unless they're like the same. And then that person is the one who actually runs the thing. So yeah, I mean, this thing is crazy, man. It's got a lot of stuff to it. It's got architectural, if any, walls, battlefields, dominating an area. A faction dominates an area when it has at least twice the number of figures compared to the opposing faction. Dominating the area grants the domination bonus of +1 attack to the attacking faction, and also counts as controlling it. So there you go. Alrighty. This little packet right here, this is the actual character cards. Okay. So what this does, I'll kind of explain it here in a second. And again, I haven't played Immortal Souls, so I'm getting most of this from videos that I've seen of people playing Immortal Souls, because nobody's really played this one yet. I mean, a lot of people have just gotten it and they've just started, but there's not a ton of play videos out there yet where everybody's had a chance to sit down and make their different videos of them playing these things. But yeah, these are the different characters that you can play. And so that little piece that I talked about, that little sort of an odd-shaped piece, goes right here. And what'll happen is, if you're playing this character, then when you get done with your turn, you'll flip that little token around, and then it will be like a blank. And then when you're done with that particular turn, then you'll flip this back over, and then that little it'll be like a different color right there. And so, as you can see, there's a lot of different characters and different things. So they're pretty cool. The different areas like here and here, I think, are for different equipment cards that you can handle. And then you also have these little pockets where you can like set cards on the side. And then this up here is where the soul gem goes. The soul gem actually fits right in this little part right here. So that little soul gem will fit right there on top, and then that's where it goes. And then there's another character, and there's another one, and then the last one. And then we have the Master Enemy Scrolls. And so we have the Elf Knight and Aspides, and there's their cards, which is pretty cool. And what's pretty neat about these is that depending on the different thing that you're doing, they have a different part. All right, so here's the storybook, and then on the back they have one of the sites, Under Rain. And so the storybook actually, when you're doing certain quest setups, they'll tell you how to put together the event deck. They'll tell you how to put together different things, the journey maps, all that kind of stuff. And then it'll tell you how to do standalone quests if you want to play standalones versus actually playing the actual campaign. So they have the standalone quest versus campaign. And then depending on how difficult you want it, so like here's quest number 1, Anvil of the Gods. It'll give you like an introduction to the quest, and then it'll tell you like what to put for the event deck, and how to put it together, any special quest rules, and then it will show you how to set up the map, and it will show you how everything is, and then where you begin, and then it gives you the Book of Secrets. Tells you when you get to story event 1, you go to the Book of Secrets 1.5. So here's the Book of Secrets. So if I go to story event number 1, then I go to let me see here. Here it is, 1.5. Story event 1. It says, the door opens on a forgotten corridor where dust and cobwebs lie thick and undisturbed. Once a glorious shrine, it is now a lost sepulchre owned by giant spiders. As they spot the heroes, the gigantic arachnids click their mandibles and shake their limbs, ready to assault the fresh victims that just invaded their hunting ground. But anyway, so then you discard story event 1 and open spawn gate. And then, yeah, when you get to certain places and you do certain things. And then when you hit certain waypoints in the game, then you'll read some of the different waypoint parts in the storybook, in the Book of Secrets, and that's pretty much it. It's basically, this is the Dungeon Master's Guide, basically. This is kind of how the story unfolds. This is more just how to set it up so that you can just play. And then it's got all the different, quests and all the different maps and everything in it, and it's pretty darn neat. Forgive my... The rulebook. So this has everything you need to get started and start playing, and how to put everything together. And then it also has kind of a guide to all the different heroes that are in Sword and Sorcery, Ancient Chronicles, and how to set up. This is how to set up the hero cards, like I was saying. So this is, like I was saying, this is where you put that little that little token that shows that you've either gone or not. This is where your soul gem goes, and then you'll have different cards equipped, and you'll have different cards on either side. And then if you have any other things, and then your soul gem goes right here, and that's what tells you what your attack power is and how everything works. And and then this is what I was saying was the soul counter. And so what you'll do is you have that oblong shaped part, and there's two parts, and then one part has the 2 holes, and then you have those 2 little dials that I mentioned. You put those together, and that's what you come up with. It's pretty neat. It's actually a really neat system. I've never seen a system that way before. These are the enemy scrolls. So this is actually every single enemy in the base game for just Ancient Chronicles is in this. There's more in the chest, which I will get to in a minute. And then here's all your different little pegs to hold, your soul counter and your soul gems together with. And then I think there's a couple extra in there. And then there's your dice. It's kind of hard to see, but you can see the different symbols. The SS right there, that's actually like a critical hit. The little shield is a defense, and then if you can kind of see these little those little symbols right there, I'm kind of pointing to it right there. Those are the actual hit symbols. It's also on the other. It's also down on this side over here. Sorry, it's kind of reverse my camera. But yeah, there's the enemy scrolls. And they fit right there, and then these are all of the different cards that you get, like treasure cards and different cards that play the game, and then there's another packet of cards. There is a ton of freaking cards in here. I'll open those in a little while. I'm not going to open those on camera. Those are... I'm going to have to kind of sort through them and figure out, like, how they do. Now for the exciting part. Oh yeah. I've been waiting a long time for this, especially as a miniature painter myself. Oh, ooh, yeah. All right. Let me take this. I forgot to do this before. Let me. Alrighty, get a little bit of light on the subject so you can kind of see these a little bit. Oh yeah, so for instance, when like we talked about the giant spiders, like there's a giant spider, and he's actually got a spider web like shooting out, and it's pretty cool. So like when those giant spiders jump out and attack, they'll attack, and then this. Yeah, and then you have like these, you know, like these enemies. They're pretty big, and they're dang detailed. I mean, it's kind of hard to see on here, but wow, they are super detailed. I mean, like crazy amount of detail on these things. This guy's a mage, and you can see he's got like a spell book open in his arm, which is going to be awesome to paint. Or actually, no, it's not open, it's closed, but still, it's going to be awesome to paint. It's going to be fun to paint that. Make them look all real cool. I'm going to see if I can actually do some painting videos where I'll actually show how I paint these. But yeah, there's like little gremlins or goblin guys. And there's like gremlins riding. Yeah, it's pretty interesting. They are pretty darn detailed. Like there was a guy there, he's got like a little hammer, and there's another guy there. These are they're hefty too. Like it's hard to tell, but like there's a little bit of weight to their bases. Like they're not gonna tip, which is nice. This is one of the other heroes. You can see the cloak on him just kind of, you know, flays out there. That's actually pretty darn cool. There's you guys, pretty cool looking. And they have different definitely have different poses and different things like that. Like this is your typical, you know, fighter character. He's got the big shield and the big sword and stuff like that. So yeah, they're pretty awesome. I think this guy, I think he's an ally. But like there's a little cat or a wolf. I can't remember exactly what he is. But yeah, there's different characters, different types of things in here, and then I'll show off the two master enemies. Kind of hard to see. But this is the Elf Knight. And Aspides. I mean, just look at all the scale. I mean, just look at the detail on the scaling on the tail and on her snake body, and like she's got like a couple different snakes up around her head. I mean, it's detailed. Like, there's a lot of detail on these miniatures. They are really good. Wow. I am excited for this. There's that another goat horn dude. I don't know if I think I showed off the other one. But anyway, there's like a little scorpion there. He's got a kind of a claw tail. It's kind of interesting. They're very different. They're definitely a different. And what's nice is that they all fit in this tray. So when you're done, you just drop them right back in. You don't even have to worry about like, oh, where am I going to store these, or oh, how are these going to work? And no, they go straight in here and they're done. And it is pretty darn amazing to me. I'm going to have to take some time and kind of read through the rules and, you know, kind of get everything set up, and then I'll see if I can record some footage of me playing. Alrighty. So, in addition to having the base game, because I backed the Kickstarter, I got this chest, which has a whole bunch of Kickstarter exclusives in it, that, you know, you got if you backed, and if they hit certain social media goals, and if they did certain things, and, you know, so I backed this in 2018. I think it was like November of 2018, and it was supposed to come out in like December of 2019. So this was actually kind of a Christmas gift for me at one point, where this was going to kind of be my Christmas present, but it never arrived. Things came and went. Some things happened. We had, you know, like 2019 was kind of a crazy year. And then 2020, of course, we had the pandemic. In fact, they were actually set to deliver. They were actually set to start manufacturing to deliver for summer of 2020. And because they used factories in China because of the pandemic, they had to close they closed all of those factories, because in, I think it was like December or January of 2019, they were actually ready to do this. And yeah, so that's the lid of the box. And aha, an extra set of dice. Always handy. And dice bag. Yeah. Love that. So the pandemic happened, and when they shut everything down in China, they shut everything down around February, March. Before, like, the U.S. or even Europe shut down, you know, travel and had all of the lockdowns and everything. And so Ares kind of like released a statement saying, well, we were going to go to production, but yeah, this happened. Sorry, nothing we can do about it, you know. I mean, it's not like they can, you know, demand that the Chinese factories reopen. So they ended up saying, okay, well, guess what? As soon as they reopen, We're going to send off for the proofs. We're going to get them back. We're going to make sure that everything's high quality, and then we'll start mass production. So I think it was like August of last year. They got the proofs. It was like August or September. They got the proofs. And then they started ramping up for mass production around Christmas time. And they were set to deliver when that ship got stuck in the canal. And of course, because of the pandemic, there were a lot of Kickstarter companies that were doing the same thing as Ares Games. They were like, hey, we need to produce. And so, like, they ran into this premium space. Like, they could not get spaces on cargo ships for every single one. So, like, some of these boxes got bogged down in China because there were so many ships docked to get all of these containers onto to get them all shipped. So actually, like, this should have been delivered back in like March, and it's May, the end of May right now. It's almost June as I'm recording this, and I just got this today, like just today. And they said that it was going to take a few for them to be able to get it from, you know, once it got here, they had to put them on trains and trucks and stuff, and they had to ship them to Indiana. And then once they got to Indiana, they had to take all of the Canadian orders and then ship those north to Canada, and then they sat down and started getting out all of the orders for the United States. And because my name has a W at the end, I'm towards the bottom of the list, which is fine. Not complaining at all, because I got it. That's all that matters. I got it. So, but, you know, there are a lot of people that are like, I'm never going to back these guys again. And I'm like, dude, they took the opportunity of the pandemic to actually improve this game. Like, this Book of Secrets right here is actually thicker than the Book of Secrets for the entire campaign of Immortal Souls. And the Northwind Tales, which is Act 2, which is the second wave, is actually thicker than this and Immortal Souls put together. Like its Book of Secrets is actually thicker than this and the Immortal Souls Book of Secrets put together. Just for Northwind Tales. Because they realized as they started going and they started writing out the Northwind Tales campaign, they realized they had a lot of information. And they wanted to put out a high quality product. They did not want people to be like, you know, oh, they just skimped and gave us just a basic, you know, cruddy game. No, they wanted to make it, like, amazing. They wanted people to know that they were actually in it to make it work. Okay? And so, I mean, I understand you're pissed because you thought, you know, that, you know, you were going to get this, you know, at a certain time. I get it. And you would have. If it hadn't been for the pandemic, we would have had this in 2020. We would have been playing this in 2020 if it had not been for the pandemic. And that's the problem, is we had the pandemic. I think these are Hollywood weapons and backer cards. So during the campaign, when it first started, if you pledged a certain amount, then you could design a card. Like, you had to pledge like a certain amount, and you could design a card, and then they would put the card in the game. And then they had what was also called the Hollywood Weapons set, which is, it was like famous like weapons and different things from like what you would see in a Hollywood movie, and that's kind of how they did it. That was actually pretty cool. I thought that was pretty neat that they would allow people to do that kind of stuff. All right, so let me kind of show you This box is insane. Like, there's so much in here. These are tuck boxes. So what you can do is you can actually take and you put these together, and they actually make up, like, there's your stash deck, and then they actually have a whole bunch of numbers on them. And so what you do is you can put all of your different decks of cards, so all of the different cards that are in the base game and in this set, you can put them in these little tuck boxes, and then you can store them in this little chest. So I'm going to kind of pull out some of this stuff, and then I'll show you what's in here. These are some different, like, cards, like you answer questions and you do different things. They're called remembrances. I don't remember exactly what this was for the actual game. I'm going to set those right down there for right this minute. Here's the trait cards. So these are actual cards that you can now use to kind of flesh out your character a little bit. So, like, for instance, says Artemis, Cursed Elf, Night Warrior. During the night, for all of your hit rolls, all sword and sorcery results also count as +1 hit result. Sunlight Weakness. During the day, for all your hit defense rolls, there's another symbol on there that I don't know, also count as -1 hit and -1 defense. Lesser Levitation. Once per quest, you gain flying and plus act move until time phase. So you can actually, like, move a little bit quicker, because you can float. You just kind of float along the ground. So there's little trait cards that just kind of add to the different characters. And then there's some other, I'm not sure exactly what these cards are. I'll have to open them up and look at them, but anyway. So this is the treasure chest. And it's kind of hard to see, but there's a ton of new things, and I'll talk about them kind of, in things. So these are new. They're called minions. And basically what these are is they're lesser characters that actually kind of spawn at certain points, or can spawn at certain points, as sort of like for the bad guys, for the bigger bad guys. They have now minions, which is kind of cool. I think that's kind of fun. They're definitely cool looking. So, like, there they are. There's all the minions. And underneath this is all the different scrolls and different cards and stuff for them. And what's really cool is this sucker just goes, and that's it. Isn't that the best? I love this. Oh my gosh. Yeah, these guys did really good. There's also some different stuff in the bottom. I'm just going to kind of show off, and then I'm just going to kind of show off some of these things. This is actually a card holder, so if you can kind of see, it's kind of hard to see, but if you can kind of see the lines right there, like right here, right here, right here, these get put together, and then they have the different symbols for the different decks. And what you do is that you set these decks in here, and then you just draw them off so they sit, like, next to the board, and you just reach over and pull out a card for, like, if you need an enemy card, or if you need something else, you just draw it off of this. It's actually pretty neat. And then there's some extra hero cards on here, because they had some extra heroes that they gave to everybody, and it was just kind of cool. Let me see here. Let me get this guy. Come on, you. Come on, you. I know you can do it. There we go. I'm trying to do, like I said, I'll put if you want to see the whole thing, like everything and how they put everything together, I'll link the description down below, and I'll link a thing to their unboxing down below so that you can kind of see. This is the Kickstarter set, so this was actually, this is a new hero and a new, yeah, there's like a new hero and a new monster kind of thing, and it has its own hero cards and trade set. Before I show you, I just want to make sure I got everything. So basically, so yeah, there's Tristan and Mist. They're two new heroes, and then you also have their Nemesis cards. And then this is the token set that comes with them. And it's pretty cool because like it all goes back in here, and so you have their cards and like how everything works, how everything fits together. And so there they are. So this is Mist. So this is Mist over here. This is Tristan. And then you have another version of Tristan. This is like an enemy soldier down here. And then this is the what they call the ghost form. So when your character dies, they actually have a form. They actually have a little ghost form that you go to a certain altar and you get resurrected. So then you bring your body back. And then this is the nemesis of Mist. So this is basically, if you don't want to play the actual character, you can have her as a villain, which is cool. It'll be fun to paint some of these. I mean, a lot of these will be just a blast to freaking paint. Like, it is awesome. And I just love how everything just goes right back into its own little package, and it just slides right in and out. It's so awesome. I'll do the challenge set next. Come on, you. There. Because I've been following the Kickstarter and the updates. I think there's been like 60 updates in the last 2.5 years. And I've been just watching this and just like, oh my gosh, I cannot wait. I cannot wait for this thing. So this is a new enemy challenge set. It says, each adventurer has his or her own preferences about how challenging co-op should be. Some players prefer a more relaxed and friendly challenge, while other gamers look for the thrill of walking the tight line between success and disaster. This expansion caters to both preferences. In fact, the Enemy Challenge Set expansion allows players to modify the game difficulty and overall game experience by combining Sword and Sorcery Ancient Chronicles core set with these new enemies. And so you have, it says you won't find a blue hobgoblin or a green tyrant lizard in the Ancient Chronicles core set. This difference has also created a new dimension to expand the range of opponents, creating different rank variants of the same creature. And this is exactly what the challenge set is. A collection of all the rank and file enemies, green and blue, included in Ancient Chronicles variant rank. So, for example, the Elf Assassin appears as a green enemy in the core set and appears as a blue enemy in the challenge set. This blue version has better attack and defense than the green, but the AI is pretty similar. And so if you put in, like, it says how to use this challenge set. This expansion, recognizable by the skull icon, may be integrated into the Ancient Chronicles quest to modify the challenge either by replacing enemies with their variant rank. You can raise or lower the challenge level according to your taste, or adding these new enemies to customize quests. In both cases, the result will have a strong effect on the gameplay of a quest, increasing its replayability. So, yeah, there's some pretty awesome stuff. And then there's like a little reference kind of thing here on the back to show. So, like it says, if you want to like up the challenge of quest number 1, because you have the 2 green spiders, giant spiders, you can add in the blue giant spiders to up the quest difficulty, if you know what I'm saying. Okay. And in quest number 2, you can add in 2 green tyrant lizards. So, because there's no other enemies or whatever, then you can add those in to up the quest difficulty or whatever. And so, here's the different enemy scrolls cards, and then there's the different enemy encounter cards. And then there's... there's some of the blue challenge set guys, and then here's some of the green challenge set guys. So you can kind of see that they just, they were adding these in to kind of show you that, you can just be different if you want. It doesn't matter. And again, I love the fact that everything can just be kind of thrown back in the box, and it just goes back together. And I think they're going to have the same thing for Wave 2 when it comes out. They will have a similar challenge set for Act 2. And you can even probably add some of these monsters in with Act 2 if you want to modify those as well. And, alright. Nemesis. So, as I was saying with the Kickstarter set with the Mist Hero and Nemesis, and then we also have the Tristan Nemesis. I'll show you here in just one second what these guys are. These are pretty cool. It says, there is no light without shadow, and each coin has 2 sides. It says, legends say that a resurrection spell does more than just recall a hero to life. The spell reshapes the hero's soul, weakened yet purified, and gives it a new body. But sometimes a hero's darkest thoughts and fears, the evil recesses of his soul, are also called back from the spirit realm and given form. This dark twin is also reborn, giving rise to a nemesis. The nemesis is a being of pure evil with the destruction of the hero as its sole purpose. And so this is just how you would use the nemesis characters if you wish to use them. And then there's Abyssal Legends, which is another game that they were promoting when they were actually finishing up this one. But there's the Nemesis heroes. So as you can see, they're all there. And of course, down below they have all of their counters and cards and scrolls and all that good stuff. This is pretty awesome. I gotta say, this is pretty badass. I have to say, this is pretty awesome. So yeah, and then the enemy scroll for the Nemesis, has a thing where, if you're doing certain things. So like this one is a bond rules reference sheet. So it's if you says with these optional rules, 2 heroes may create a personal bond, forming a strong friendship and becoming true comrades. This can happen during the journey, Sword and Sorcery Ancient Chronicles saga, or during the adventure while facing quests, any Sword and Sorcery saga. Which, I forgot to mention, if you bought Sword and Sorcery Immortal Souls, or even if you bought it after, like if you were anticipating getting this, and so you decided, hey, I'm gonna buy Immortal Souls just to try it out. Anything that's in this set, the Ancient Chronicles set, you can use in Immortal Souls. You can use heroes from Immortal Souls in here. You can use enemies from Immortal Souls in here. You can do whatever. I mean, this game is infinitely customizable. That's the awesome thing about this game. And that was one of the things that drew me to it, was the fact that it wasn't just a one and done, oh, look at me, I bought this one game and bam, I played through it a couple times and it's the same thing every time I play. No, you can make this thing do anything you want. And so what they're talking about here with this thing is, they talk about some friendship stuff, and then they're like, will the friendship survive? Romance. So they added some extra subplots into this so that, it makes it, a little bit more than just your normal campaign, if you know what I mean. Like, it's not just going to be a one and done thing. There is a lot of rules variants that you can use with it to kind of, create that sort of, experience that you want out of a game. I mean, this is the beauty of a game like this over something like, say, EverQuest or anything like that, is these things, they take so much imagination, and that's what I love about board games. That's what I love about games like this. They are all about that, and the imagination that it takes. I love that. I love using my imagination. I mean, heck, I'm 41 years old, and, people always tell me, oh, you're too old. Screw that. When did your imagination die? Holy moly. Alrighty. Spawn gates and God's altars. This is something that I've been looking forward to for a while too, because you have a little deck of cards here that you have some extra treasure cards and some extra other cards in there too. But these are 3D printed spawn gates, God's altars. This is that treasure token that I was talking about. So if you die, you place this in where your body died, and or if a monster dies and it has treasure, then you place that next to it so that you go and you pick it up. These are the different spawn gates for different enemies and stuff. There's all these different stairs and this one here is like an altar. Here, let me what is this? Tape. One of the reasons why I haven't been pulling them out, because I didn't want to cut the tape just yet. But oh man. I've been waiting for these because as a painter, man, I've been waiting for these because these look so badass. But as you can see, there's it's kind of hard to see, but there's an arcane symbol in the middle there. I think you can kind of see it. And then there's arcane symbols on the outsides. There you go. So there's arcane symbols on the outside, and then there's an arcane symbol in the middle. And it's pretty cool. Here's a set of stairs descending. And I mean, they're, like I said, they're hefty. They're really hefty. There's a heft to the plastic. Most people think of plastic miniatures as just being these kind of hollowy, wispy kind of things, and these are not. Here's another staircase that descends, and there's an actual, almost like a door at the bottom. Oh man, these are going to be so much fun to paint. Just because they're going to be awesome to kind of just explore. Here's another one that just kind of descends down into, something. So, yeah, it's pretty awesome. This is cool. Yeah, and then here's I think these are the enemy spawn gates right here. Got a little skull on them. You can kind of see. And then there's that one has the actual Sword and Sorcery logo on the shield. And then there's little treasure all around it, a little sword. That's pretty cool. And like I said, I mean, you know, the cool thing about this is that these all fit together, and then it's like these little cards just fit right into that little slot right there, and there they are. And then they pop right back into their box. And that goes right back into its little sleeve here, and bam, there you go. I love that. That is so cool. Alright, last but not least, we have, let me pull these guys out here real quick. I know I said this video was going to be long, and it has been. It's been over an hour now since I've been doing this. But yeah, here's some of the extra character cards, and yeah, so there's a big old site sheet right behind this right here. You can kind of see it right here. There's a little site sheet, and there's, yeah, and then we'll talk about, they have a bunch of different things in here, and I believe, I thought this one had the, oh, there it is, on the bottom. This is all of the names of all the people who actually backed the project, and I think, if I look, I'll have to find my name, but one of these days I'll have to just kind of look through and see if I can find my name. Yeah, they have all the different backers on the bottom of the box, which I thought was actually pretty cool. So I'll have to go through that and yeah, and do that. Aries, you made a quality product. I gotta commend you. I mean, this to me is amazing. I cannot wait to get into this. I can't. I mean, this is just so cool. I love the fact that they put in the work, and that they, you know, put in all of that to make this the quality product that it is. And I mean, that to me was phenomenal. And I gotta commend you, Aries, for putting together one of the best you know, games that I've seen in a long time. And I mean, I can't begin to say how excited I am to actually sit down, read through the rules, and then maybe even just kind of clear off my paint station, set up a little board on my small little table over there that I have, and just kind of go to town on it and just have fun. It's going to be fun to get into, and so I'll keep you guys appraised of all of my progress and how everything works, and we'll just kind of, you know, go from there. And you know, I'm sorry about some of my videos being kind of erratic. I know I've been doing a lot of the Reznov plays, and I need to do more with this movie wall behind me. I have a lot more movies that I'd love to talk about. I just need to pick one and go for it. I know I was doing the Mr. Reagan rebuttal. I was doing the Simon Dan rebuttal. I still have to finish those two. And I have another project on the horizon that I'm looking at. So I'm going to kind of look through some of the stuff that way, and I have some things in the works. I will continue to play through Final Fantasy II Let's Replay. I need to sit down and kind of do a few more of those. I know I've said I'm gonna do that, and I just haven't. My bad. It's been a while since I've uploaded one of those. It's actually been a while since I played, so I'm actually gonna, you know, sit down and play through. And I'll make sure to make safety saves just in case my computer decides it doesn't want to record, like it did before. I did go in and back up like all my older videos. I archived like all of my older projects through Active Presenter off this computer. So my new laptop here has a solid state drive, and so I have to kind of do that. So I'm just kind of going through like what kind of projects I have and what I want to do. And I have another. I'm gonna do some apologetics videos in the future. I'm also gonna do a new project called Life the Role Playing Game, where I'm gonna talk about, because hey, you know, I love adventure board games. I love role playing games. I've been playing role playing games for years. I actually started with Hero Quest, Dragon Strike, Dungeons and Dragons, Dragon Quest back in the day. If you've seen Board Game Geek, I'm RussDog99. You can see a lot of my reviews on those games versus I haven't. I'll post one up once I finally finish playing this. I'll post up a review, a text review of this, and I might even try to post this up on, you know, on the. I might try to post this up. I can't speak right now. I'm tired, but I might post this up on Board Game Geek as a video unboxing of Sword and Sorcery Ancient Chronicles. So again, just kind of look for it and see what it is. I'm sorry I'm not more entertaining today. I'm kind of running a little low on energy, but you know, I got this and I was like, oh my gosh, I gotta open it. I gotta open it. I gotta do this unboxing right now because it's amazing. I can't believe that it's finally here. So yeah, I am super excited that this is here. I'm gonna open up a lot of these, and I'll kind of go through all the different components here, and just kind of, you know, familiarize myself, and I'll see if I can get a tripod. I have an actual camera that can record some video, and I'll see if I can kind of set it all up so that I can, you know, kind of record myself playing, and I will then kind of do a sort of a how do you play kind of let's play kind of a game for Sword and Sorcery Ancient Chronicles here. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video. Smash that like button. Hit subscribe if you want more of this kind of content. If you like the Reznov plays, if you want to see some more DVD reviews, drop a comment. Let me know if you are one of the legendary backers, or even if you were just kind of curious about this. If you'd heard people talking about it, like, it's shipping, it's on its way, and you're like, what are these people talking about? And yeah, just have a wonderfully blessed day, and I will see you guys in the next video.